What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video is all about Burst of Destiny once again. This time we have new support for archetypes like Despians and Destiny Heroes of all things. We have two new archetypes in Burst of Destiny, and also, get this, we also have new agent support, even more new agent support in the brand new agent structure. So I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to go straight into it with the Despian cards from Burst of Destiny. There's actually a few cards in here, so I'm going to just talk about them really quickly and get straight into it. First up, we actually have one of the boss monsters of the deck. First up, we have ad libitum of Despia, which is an 8-star dark fairy with 1500 attack and 2000 defense. Both of its effects are once per turn. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Each monster currently face up on the field gains 100 attack times its own current level until the end of your opponent's turn. So with that, it can go somewhere between, again, from 100 to literally 1200. It just depends on the monster. Excuse me. Second effect says, if this card is used as fusion material while in the hand or on the field, and is sent to the grave or banished, you can target one of your Despia monsters not named this card, or one of your level 8 or higher fusion monsters that is banished or in your grave, special summon it. So it's basically a monster reborn. As a side note, it says, ad libitum is the Latin phrase many know as ad libbing. So it's a pretty cool effect. Basically, being able to resummon your fusions from your graveyard is pretty cool. But if you want to talk about boss monsters, this is actually the boss fusion. One of the big boss monsters you need for the deck itself, which is called Masquerade the Crimson Gleam Dragon, which is a 8-star Dark Fiend fusion. With 2500 attack and 2000 defense, and requires one Despia monster and one light or dark monster. Its second effect is a once per turn. While you control this fusion summon card, your opponent must pay 600 life points to activate cards or effects. So it's basically what's called a reverse Imperial Order. What that means is instead of you paying the life points, your opponent has to pay life points in order to activate effects. Which that's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. Being able to force your opponent to lose life points to activate effects, that's pretty good. That is really good. Plus with a card, plus with an effect like that, you can just literally just attack for game. Just go full combo, attack for game, done. GG no re. Hands down. Easy. Easy. GG easy. Pun intended. Anyway, if this card is in the graveyard, and your opponent controls a ritual, fusion, synchro, exceeds, or link monster, as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from the grave, but banish it when it's in the field. So obviously with an effect like that, you can easily bypass the effect by just using it as Xyz material for a rank 8 play, like say, oh, I don't know, maybe number 38, maybe, possibly. I mean, all you do is just overlay this with another level 8, and you can go into Cypher Dragon. You can go into number 38, and then you can just detach this material, and instead of it being banished, it goes straight to the graveyard, so you can use this effect over and over and over and over again. It's kind of similar to Galactic Spiral Dragon, where this is more so of a one-off because you can just easily bypass the banish effect by just simply using it as Xyz material. If you were to use it as like single material or something, it would just get banished right off the bat. Next, now for the spells, we have Jubilation of the Branded, which is a quick play spell. Both of its effects are once per turn and only once a turn. So basically, they're both hard once per turns. Reveal one monster in your hand, and if you do, send one level 8 fusion with 2500 attack or defense with the same type as that monster from your extra deck to the grave. Then you can apply the following effect. discard the revealed monster, then add one Fallen of Albaz or one monster that specifically lists the card Fallen of Albaz and its text from your deck to your hand. So it's basically like it's basically a Rhoda, basically. Just, that's it. Plain simple. It's a Rhoda. During the end phase, if a fusion monster was sent to your graveyard this turn, you could add this card from your grave to your hand. So, that's just it. Basically, you're able to add this card back to your hand, and you can use the Rhoda effect over and over again. Really, really cool. And then the last card here is Branded in Red, which is a quick play spell, and it is a once per turn, of course. Target one Despia monster or one Fallen of Albaz in your grave. Add that monster to your hand. Then you can apply the following effect: fusion summon a level 8 or higher fusion from your extra deck by banishing monsters from your hand or field as the material, but it cannot attack directly this turn. Which this is basically the counterpart to Branded in White, which is pretty cool. So basically, it's basically one of the polys for the deck itself. So that's actually pretty cool. That is actually really cool. Honestly, I'm actually excited for the new Despia, Albaz archetype, because there are so many different decks out there that can use the Fallen of Albaz cards. It's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Now we have one of the first of two new archetypes in this set in Burst of Destiny. This is called Ice Jade, which is basically a water deck. First up we have Acti, I believe it's pronounced, of the Ice Jade. And if it has a female name like that, you know it's gonna be a fucking waifu deck. Yeah, waifus. Gotta love them. You love to see a waifu deck in Yu-Gi-Oh. You love to see it. This one is a 4-star water aqua with 1,000 attack and defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send a water monster. You can send a water monster from your hand to the grave. Then draw one card. So basically, it's 1-for-1. It's just that. It's basically a 1-for-1, so to speak. You send a water monster from your hand to the grave. You draw one card. It's basically -1/+1, basically. If a face of water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card is in your grave, you can banish this card, special summon one Ice Jade monster from your hand or grave, except this card. So basically, you can either Sidra or Monster Reborn a monster that has Ice Jade in its name, except this card. Pretty broken. Pretty good. Again, we don't know much about this new archetype. If you guys do know the story behind it, let me know in the comments, because I'm not entirely sure. My guess, it may have something to do with like a movie from years ago. Not sure. Next up, we have Tinola of the Ice Jade. 4-star water aqua, 1,000 attack and defense. Again, both of its effects are once per turn. You can send one card from your hand to the grave, then target one water monster in your grave. Send this card from the field to the grave, and you do special summon that target. So basically, you send a card from your hand to the grave. You target a water monster in your grave. Again, send this card to the grave and special summon the monster that you targeted from the grave. So it's basically a -2 resurrect. It's a -2 recycle 1. Not the best effect. But if you play the card correctly, it might be a pretty decent card. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card is in the grave, you can banish this card, special summon one Ice Jade monster from your hand or grave, except this card. Basically, again, just like the other one, you're basically able to either Sidra or Monster Reborn. Next up, we have Tremolat of the Ice Jade. 5-star water aqua, 1,500 attack and defense. Both of its effects are once per turn. You can send this card from your hand to the grave, special summon a water monster from your hand. So it's basically a hand trap, which honestly, there are so many different archetypes nowadays that have hand traps. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane, but it's also incredible. It's pretty incredible because back in the day, hand traps, you had cards like Battle Fader and Swift Scarecrow, Ghost Ogre, Ash Blossom, and whatnot. Now there are archetypes that have their own hand trap, and this is one of them. This is actually one of them, which is really good. If it faces a water monster you control, it's destroyed by battle or card effect, and this card is in your grave. Banish this card. Special summon an Ice Jade monster from your hand or grave, except this card. Basically again, Sidra or Reborn. Now on to the spells. I believe there's only one spell. Yeah, so this is the only spell here for now, of course. We have Ice Jade Cradle, which is a normal spell. Add from your deck to your hand one Ice Jade monster with a different name from the cards you control or in your graveyard. So if you have, like, say, Tremolat in your on your field, you can either add Tanola or Acti from your deck. So that's pretty cool. As a side note, it says the person who wrote this actually said, I went with Cradle, the older Middle English spell for cradle, since the katakana here is meant to make it sound exotic. Oh, okay. Okay, now we get it. Honestly, this new archetype, it's pretty decent. I'm not so sure how good it's going to be once we get to Bursts of Destiny later this year, but could be interesting. Alright, you guys. Now, Drytron's... Let me ask you guys a question. Did you ever think that Drytrons and Ursardics would ever come together? No? Well, they've actually come together, which is actually hilarious. I find that so hilarious, I don't even know how to respond to it. But we actually have the fusion card, the fusion monster, and then the fusion spell. So to speak, the fusion monster is called Ursatron, the Celestial Polar Illumina ship. It's a 7-star water machine fusion with 2,000 attack and 700 defense. And it says this card is always treated as an Ursardic and Drytron card. Must be fusion summoned with Ursardic Drytron, which is basically the spell form. Once per turn, if another effect monster is special summoned to your field, you can add one Ursardic or Drytron monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can target one of your banished Ursardic or Drytron monsters added to your hand. What? You've got to be kidding me. Really? I don't know who the hell came up with the idea to mix these two together, but I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. Absolutely insane. And then for the spell, it's called basically, as I just said, Ursardic Drytron, which is a normal spell, and its second effect is a once per turn. The first effect says banish one Ursardic Big Dipper and one Drytron Fafnir from your hand and or field, and if you do, special summon one Ursatron, the Celestial Polar Illumina ship, from your extra deck. If you control Ursardic Polari or Drytron Alpha Thuban, you can banish one of the above cards from your deck instead. If you would tribute a monster or monsters to activate an Ursardic or Drytron monster effect, you can banish this card from your grave instead. So with the second effect, it's basically Return of the Dragon Lords, where you're able to just banish the spell instead, which is really good. I don't know what the hell to say about that. That's absurd. Now we have the brand new. Now we have another archetype for another new archetype for Burst of Destiny. This one is actually interesting because this is actually based off of the story, based off of the ancient warrior stories from China. So this is called Xianzhang, I believe how it's pronounced. I probably butchered that name. I apologize to all of our Chinese fans out there. I apologize. I probably butchered that one. But first up we have Mo Ye, the Zhang Swordmaster, which is a 4-star water worm with 1700 attack and 1800 defense, and both of its effects are a once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can reveal one Xianzhang card or one worm monster in your hand. Special summon one Xianzhang token, which is a worm tuner, 4-star water, 0 attack and defense. While that token is on the field, you cannot special summon monster from the extra except synchro monster. So basically, this locks you out of summoning other monsters except synchros, but you can actually use that token as a tuner. You can use this token to synchro summon. What? What? The fuck? Absurd. Absurd. If this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can draw one card. Basically, you can use this card and the token to go into your synchro place, which is really insane. Next up, we have Tai A, the Xianzhang Swordmaster, which is a 4-star wind worm, 1800 attack, 1500 defense. You can banish one card. Okay, so this basically, the first effect is basically the same. Summon a token tuner, locks you out. It's the same effect, but the second effect is different because it says if this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can send one Xianzhang card or worm monster from your deck to the grave. So it's basically a foolish burial, basically. So that's actually really good. And then this one is, and then the second effect for this one is different because this one is called Long Yuan, the Xianzhang Tactician. 6-star fire worm, 1200 attack, 2300 defense. The second, I've already read the first effect from the first monster, so you guys don't have to hear me say it again. But the second effect is different. It says, if this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can inflict 1200 points of damage to your opponent. That is absurd, especially if you're going for game. That can help you out. That could really help you out. Next up, we have Chun Jun, the Xianzhang Auspicious Beast, which is a 6-star earth worm, 2400 attack, 1800 defense. These effects are different because the first and third effects are once per turn. During the main phase, as a quick effect, you can tribute one monster, special summon this card from your hand. So basically, it's just that simple. It's just that simple, and you can actually summon this from the hand, which is crazy. Second effect, it says before damage cal, if your worm monster battles an opponent's monster, special summon from the extra deck. Oh wait, hold on. Before damage cal, if your worm monster battles an opponent's monster, special summoned from the extra deck, you can destroy that opponent's monster and this card. So it's basically, it's kind of like a two-prong attack, which is an older card from Legend of Blue Eyes, but that's a pretty good effect. Pretty good effect. And then the last effect says, if this card is sent to the grave as synchro material, you can target one card on the field or in either grave, banish it. Basically, it's a call by the grave with legs. That's what this is. That's what this card is. It's a call by the grave with legs. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Next up, we have Qi Zhao, the Xianzhang Grand Swordmaster, which I believe is one of the big boss monsters of the whole archetype. 8-star light worm synchro, 2800 attack, 1000 defense, and acquires a tuner and a non-tuner worm monster. Both of its effects are hard once per turns. If this card is synchro summoned, you can add to your hand or banish one Xianzhang card from your deck. So you can either foolish burial the card or add it to your hand. In this case, either one works. At this point, either one works. You never know. You never know. You never know. Second effect is a quick effect. You can banish one Xianzhang card or one worm monster from your hand or grave, then target one other effect monster on the field, negate effects until the end of the turn. So it's basically like its own it's basically like its own fiendish chain of sorts, or rather its own. It's basically a imperm, basically for the archetype, which is really cool. All right, you guys. Now we have another one of the big boss monsters of the whole archetype. This one is called Chang Ying, the Xianzhang Grand Duke, which is a 10-star water worm synchro with 3000 attack and defense and requires a tuner and one or more non-tuners. The third effect is a once per turn. The first effect says gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each banished card. So, basically, if you banish a bunch of cards and your opponent does the same, this card is going to be a very big boy. It's gonna be a thick boy. It's going to be a thick boy. Literally. That's what she said. Anyway. Anyway, second effect says, if this card would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish a card from your grave instead. If a card or cards becomes banished, you can banish one card from your opponent's field and graveyard. So it's basically a Cosmic Cyclone called by the grave. Again. Literally, that's what it is. Funny enough, it doesn't say that it requires a worm tuner, so I would say this is a pretty generic synchro where you can use it for you can use it in pretty much any deck. But what's also cool about this one is that this is also a target for Waking the Dragon, which is an older card from Flames of Destruction we have not seen in a while, actually, which is really cool. Now for the spells. First up, we have a card called the Xianshang Dragon Sword appears, which is a normal spell. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn, once per turn. Add one Xianshang monster from your deck to your hand, and if you control from your hand, or if you control a single monster, you can add one war monster instead. Which, that's pretty cool. Basically, you could just Rhoda. Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. You can basically just Rhoda, which is really cool. If this card is banished, you can target one Xianshang or worm monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1 until the end of the until the end of the turn. Basically, it helps you go into your synchro plays, which can help you go into either Grand Duke or Grand Swordmaster, it can help you win games. Now we have another normal spell called Xianzhang Men, the Grand Spiritual Peak, which is a normal spell. You can only use the first and second effects as the card's name per turn. Target one Xianshang monster in your grave, special summon it, and if you control a synchro monster, you can target one worm. If you control a synchro monster, you can target one worm monster instead. Basically, it's a monster reborn. I don't have to say anything else. Literally. If this card is banished, you can target one Xianshang or worm monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1 until the end of the turn. Basically, it's the same as Dragon Sword. Really good for your synchro plays. Now for the normal traps. First up, we have Xianshang Research. Target one face-up monster you control, banish up to 5 Xianshang cards and or worm monsters from your grave, and if you do, that target gains 300 attack for each. If this card is banished, you can special summon one Xianshang token, which is a tuner. While this token is on the field, basically it's the same as the effect monsters actually. And then this next one is basically has the same. The second effect is the same, but the first effect is different. The name of the card is called Xianshang Sudden Shift. Target one worm monster you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy them. Basically, it's a 2-prong attack, but instead it's role reversal, because with 2-prong attack, normally it's target 2 of your monsters and 1 of yours and destroy them. This one is role reversal because you're only destroying 1 of your monsters and 2 of your opponent's cards. This archetype, I'm actually curious about it. I'm actually kind of curious, but I'm also excited to see what this archetype is about. What we can expect from this archetype. Now we have some new revolver cards actually, which is cool. How many cards are there? There's actually 3 new cards for revolver. I swear my laptop is being stupid. Alright, first up we have Reloaded Cylinder, which is a normal trap. The second effect is a once per turn. The first effect says target one magic cylinder from your deck or grave directly. Set one magic cylinder from your deck or grave directly to your field. If you set it from the deck, it can be activated during this turn. When you activate Magic Cylinder, you can banish this card from your grave, double the damage its effect inflicts to your opponent. Wow, so if you guys remember Magic Cylinder from the original DM anime, yeah, that's a pretty broken effect. Pretty broken. Now we have Rocket Caliber, which is a 4-star Dark Dragon tuner with 1700 attack and only 100 defense. You can only special summon with the way in this card's name's first effect per turn, once per turn, and the second effect is a once per turn. First effect says you can special summon this card from your hand to your zone a Dark Link monster points to. Basically, it's another form of Saryuja, but it's a little different. You can tribute this card, special summon one Dark Dragon or Machine monster from your hand, except this card. Basically, it's self-explanatory. Next up, we have Boral Code Dragon. Wow, it's a 3-star Dark Dragon Link with 2500 attack, and its links are top, bottom left, bottom right. And it requires 2 or more effect monsters. And it has 3 effects, 2 of which are once per turn. Cannot be destroyed by card effects while a link monster points to this card. At the start of the damage step, if this card link summoned using 3 monsters as material, battles an opposed monster, you can destroy all monsters on the field. Basically, it's a dark hole. Basically, it's a dark hole, which is absurd. You can banish this card from your grave, banish 1 dark monster on the field with 3000 or more attack, and if you do, special summon 1 topologic monster from your extra deck or grave. Topologic, you can summon Zeroboros, Trisbania, Bomber Dragon would be another good one. Mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Everybody kept saying that, oh, Trisbania is not that good. Come on, you can summon Trisbania with the effects of this card. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? And then the last code, and then the last card is called Detonation Code, which is a continuous trap. You can only use this card's name's first and second effects once per turn. If you control a topologic Link monster, you can target 1 Dark Dragon, Machine, or Cyberse monster in your grave, except a Link monster, special summon it. During the standby phase of the next turn, if this card is banished from the spell or from the spell and trap zone, you can set this card to your field. Basically, it's just that. I don't have to explain anything else whatsoever. Wow, so many cards to talk about, and in such little time, actually. I really don't have to say anything else about the new Boral cards. The only thing I will say is that you can with the Link monster, you can actually summon Bomber Dragon, Trisbania, or Zeroboros right off the bat. We actually have how many new cards for Destiny Heroes? We have 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 new Destiny Heroes. First up, we have Destiny Hero Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, which is an 8-star Dark Warrior fusion, 2500 attack and 2100 defense, and it requires a 1 level 6 or higher hero monster, and 1 Destiny Hero monster. Level 6 or higher. Malicious, Destiny Hero, pretty much anything. Disc Commander, perhaps. A nice little combo right there. Second and third effects are once per turn. Monsters your opponent controls lose 200 attack for each hero card in your graveyard. Yeah, you're gonna be sending your cards a lot of your cards to the grave off of like fusion cards, draw cards. There you go. Quick effect, you can destroy 1 card you control and 1 card on the field. That's it. That's pretty much it. That's it. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can activate this effect. Special summon 1 Destiny Hero monster from your grave during your next standby phase. Yeah, basically it's a monster reborn. I don't have to say anything else about it. Next up we have Destiny Hero Denier, which is a 3-star Dark Warrior, 1100 attack, 600 defense. First effect is once per turn. Second effect is once per duel. If this card is normal or special summon, you can place one of your Destiny Hero monsters that is banished in your deck or in your graveyard on the top of the deck, basically allowing you to go into even more of your combos, to go into a soul, to go into your fusion plays. Plain and simple. If you have a Destiny Hero monster other than Denial Guy, other than this card, on your field or in your grave, you can special summon this card from your grave. Simple. Break the Destiny, which is a normal trap. You can okay, so it's once per turn. Target one Destiny and Dragoon or one level 8 or higher Destiny Hero monster you control. Destroy it, and if you do, skip your opponent's next main phase 1. Wow, that's pretty insane. Basically, you're just skipping their main phase, forcing them to go into their battle phase, and forcing them to go into their main phase 2, which is really crazy. You can banish this card from your grave, add a spell or trap that specifically lists Destiny and Dragoon or a Destiny Hero monster's card's name in its text from your deck to your hand, except this card. Basically, it's searching. You're searching cards. Awesome effect. They're actually really good. They're really good. Being able to stop your opponent from using from going to their main phase and whatnot is really cool. How much time we have? We have a couple minutes. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about this will be the last thing that I'm going to talk about, and then Saturday, and then this Saturday I will actually finish up the rest of the I'll actually finish up the rest of the new support and all that. So make sure you guys stay tuned. So this whole week I'm gonna be filming. I'm gonna be posting videos every single day this whole week, which will actually end this next Tuesday with another Yu-Gi-Oh news video. So this will be the last thing that I'm going to talk about. Brand new Machina support, actually, which is pretty crazy. There's actually only one card. Okay, so I might talk about one other thing, but let's see. Machina Ruin Force, 10-star Dark Machine, which has a special summon effect. 46. Whoa, what? What? Yo, 4600 attack, 4100 defense. That is a big boy. That's what she said. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must be special summon from your grave by banishing any number of machine monsters from your grave whose total level equals 12 or more. You can only use this card's name first and second effects per turn, once per turn. When your opponent activates a card or effect during the battle phase as a quick effect, you can pay half your life points, negate the activation, and if you do, half your opponent's life points. Yeah, Solemn Judgment, basically. Solemn Judgment. Basically, it's a fucking Solemn Judgment. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon up to 3 of your banished Machina monsters whose soul level equals 12 or less. Holy shit. It's a triple different dimension reincarnation. It's that fucking good. It's that fucking good. Alright, you guys, this will actually be the last thing that I'm going to talk about, because it's actually another Magus card. Because I'm actually low on time, actually. So we have Zoroa, yeah, Zoroa, the Magus Diamond, which is a 8-star fire spellcaster synchro with 2900 attack and 1500 defense, and requires one spellcaster tuner and one or more non-tuners. The third effect is a once per turn. If this card is synchro summon, you can equip it with one Magus monster from your extra deck. Basically, it's the effect of Borderlord Savage Dragon, but from the extra deck instead. Your opponent cannot activate the effect of monsters in the same of the same type. Fusion, Synchro, Exceeds, Link as Magus monsters cards in your spell and trap zone. You can target one Magus card you control, destroy, and if you do, special summon this card from your grave. So basically, you're able to just special summon this card from your grave and do a bunch of shenanigans, basically. Alright, you guys, that's actually. Oh wait, you know what? Or you know what? I actually have. You know what? I'll talk about these last two, and then I'm actually gonna end it there, really quickly. So we have a brand new Evil Twin. I know that I said that was the last one, but these are it's just a few extra cards. What's gonna hurt? First up, we have Evil Twins Trouble Sunny, which is a Link 4 Light Fiend with 3,300 attack, and its arrows are top center, middle left, middle right, bottom center. And it requires two or more monsters, including an Evil Twin. As a quick effect, you contribute this card, special summon from your grave, up to 1 Kisa Kill and 1 Lila monster each. Double Monster Reborn, not going to say much about it. You can banish this card from your grave, then send 1 Evil Twin monster from your hand, deck, or face-up field to the grave. Send 1 card on the field to the grave. So you can actually Foolish Burial a card, one of your Evil Twin monsters, and then send a card on your opponent's field to the grave, which could be pretty much anything. Which is really cool. Alright, you guys, and the last thing that I'm going to talk about for this video. So I'll wait to finish up the rest on Saturday. We have Transonic Bird and Sonic Tracker. So Transonic Bird is a Dark Winged Beast ritual 4-star with 0 attack, 2,400 defense. Ritual summon this card with Sonic Tracker. It actually has 3 effects. So I'm going to try and just scan, like, zoom. Once per turn, you can reveal one ritual spell in your hand, and if you do, add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand, whose name is listed on it. And if you do that, shuffle the reveal card into the deck. That's pretty. That's pretty cool effect. That's pretty cool. Not gonna say much about it, honestly. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can send one ritual spell from your deck to the grave. This effect becomes that ritual spell's effect. That ritual summons a monster when it's activated. If this ritual summon card is tributed, you can target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate effects until the end of the turn, which is really crazy because you're able to just imperm and basically ruin your opponent's board. Sonic Tracker, ritual summon again, Transonic Bird, and we know the first effect is always what you need to do to summon the ritual monster. Second effect says you can banish this card from your grave, then target 1 ritual monster you control, send 1 ritual monster with the same type or attribute as a face-up monster from your deck to the grave. Basically, it's a Fool's Burial. I'm not going to say anything else about it. It's a Fool's Burial. We all know what it does. Pretty broken. Not too crazy, honestly, but still could be very, very interesting. But guys, that's going to do it for this part of the video. I'll finish up the rest in Saturday's video, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos, which gets posted every Tuesday. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way, and be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be down in the description below, and if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.